Christian, how's it going, man? How's your night?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Very good, very good. Hey, before we go forward, I want to make sure I say your last name correctly. Paolantonio, is that correct?
That's exactly right. Yeah, just
Cool,
like
cool.
Sal Paolantonio from ESPN.
Yeah, that was my next question. Is that some relative there? Is that somewhere down the line?
There's no relation as I know, but there could be something that's unknown still. But it's funny that we do follow the same path, and he's somebody I look up to, somebody I've been
Yes,
watching
sir.
for a while.
Yes, sir. I heard the name, years and years ago, and following you on Twitter for a couple of years now. I was curious. So either way, it's good to have you, man. You're a good reporter, good writer. I know you've done a lot of XFL stuff and a lot of spring football stuff. So it's good to have you on tonight, and I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tonight we're just going to discuss a few different things. Nothing too lengthy. Really want to get to know you more at the end. That's kind of what I've been doing recently, just having guests on and getting to know them and just finding out more about your story. But we do have a few rumors to talk about that I saw on Twitter, as well as just a few things like the combine and the live streaming of the combine that look awesome. So
All
I
right.
guess let's just get straight to it. Have you checked out the rumor mill on Twitter? First off, about the the refiling of the LA Wildcats.
Yeah, I actually have seen that report. I think it's interesting because nobody has really talked about relocation, or not even just relocation, or more just expansion for the league. And it's something that a lot of people have been discussing, under wraps a little bit. And so it's interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not they do decide to add expansion teams and when they decide to do that. I know the market in LA in 2020 was a little lackluster, that the attendance wasn't there completely. I know they're a little disappointed in that. Head coach was Winston Moss. He was a great coach. I like Winston Moss a lot, but yeah, I know the market was a little disappointing, so I'm a little surprised to see them go back to that. But I would like to see LA come back as an XFL city.
Oh yeah, I think it's a given now. When I say that, I don't mean it's going to be a given soon. I'm thinking this is a 2025 move probably. But as we all know, we got some big rumor hitting the shelves on 8/1. So I wonder what that's going
Right.
to be. A lot of folks have
I'm,
said that's the schedule. That's what I believe also. But it is what it is.
yeah, the schedule would be nice. I would appreciate an early schedule release for sure. Just based off for travel and stuff.
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
up in the DMV area this year, so it might be a little more complicated. So getting that schedule out earlier would definitely be appreciated.
Yeah, same here, same here. I know last year before I even pursued this as media, we were just trying to get single game tickets, and you couldn't get them until I think a month prior, maybe 6 weeks
Right.
prior. So definitely would appreciate it, and I'm sure the numbers are going to be much better if we get that out. Um,
Definitely, I agree.
I know I've seen a lot of people talking about the relocation of Las Vegas. That's pretty far fetched for me. I believe that's not going anywhere, but anything's possible. What do you think about that?
I think Vegas should stay put as well. I know that they had issues with the stadium, and I know people are disappointed in the how it looked on TV a little bit. But I thought throughout the season it got a little better, and they were able to figure out what angles work best. And I think Cashman's a good home for the Vipers, and hope they stay. Honestly,
Yes, sir. I agree with that, and I think they have a strong fandom there. It may not be super strong, but they sold a lot of tickets, and there were a lot of people there.
all
So
right,
I hope they have success either way. But just wanted to bring that up, just because it's getting a lot of trends there on Twitter and Facebook.
all right.
So next up, I just wanted to talk about the rumor mill has hit that the Roughnecks may be relocating stadiums next year. This came from the ref on Facebook. No verified news, nothing concrete, but it's pretty interesting just to read this and see this. Some people are saying Rice Stadium, some people are saying Shell Energy. Have you had a chance to research any of this yet?
I did do a little bit of research before we did this call. I looked at Rice Stadium, and I saw also the attendance numbers from Houston this past season. I know that they were a little up and down. I know they would have liked a little more, but I think that stadium's at a good location, the one they're currently at. Whether they move or not, I'm not sure how far Rice Stadium or Shell is from
Rice
TC.
isn't far
Or
at all. I mean, it's
okay,
right down the road. I'm not
okay,
sure about
yes, and
Shell.
I'm not sure the tailgating situation is like for those stadiums as well. I know that's a big concern for fans, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yes, sir. I attended almost every game or every game for the Roughnecks as media. And I mean, it definitely was too big of a place, but at the same time, it was beautiful, very nice. Everything was very, very nice. And so, either way, I think they'll be fine. The thing about Rice that scares me is there's about 30,000 more seats available there. And as you said, those numbers were a little down. So, it's not the best look on TV. And we can gauge that just from Orlando, how they had to have most of the people that came sit on one side of the stadium for the TV
Exactly.
angle.
Yep, I totally agree with that. Speaking of Orlando, I'm actually planning on attending some of those games this year. I'm excited to be down there, and hopefully they can get a couple more fans out. I know that they do a good job of marketing on Twitter. I know Corey Helvey, he does a good job of marketing the tickets there, and so
Yes,
hopefully
sir.
that Orlando can get some more people in the stadium this year.
Yes, sir. He does do a good job. I've engaged with him on Twitter also, and hopefully we can get him on for a podcast sometime just to pick his brain. I mean, he's pretty adamant about his job in the XFL. So,
Yeah,
but
definitely determined guy.
where are you located right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so I'll go into it a little bit actually. Went and attended college in Virginia, in Southwest Virginia, and I live in Florida full time normally, but I decided to go up to Virginia, which is where I grew up also. And so being back there, I also got the opportunity to cover some DC games. It's a little bit of a drive from where I was at in college, which is
Understood.
Radford, Virginia. It's about 3.5, 4 hour drive, and so making those drives to DC weren't easy, but being there for the XFL was definitely worth the trip, and I enjoyed the time, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. But right now, yeah, I'm in Florida.
Gotcha, gotcha. So you're not too far from me. I'm down in the coast of Mississippi.
Okay.
Depending on where you are, you're not too far away. I know one thing.
Yeah,
It's
I'm in the Tampa
hot.
area.
It's hot. Is it hot there?
Super hot. It's
Yeah.
hottest summer I can remember.
Yeah, same here. I mean, the AC is just pumping, man, but it's still 73 in here, 75.
Right,
Uh,
right. Yeah, we've been getting a bunch of storms today, so it hasn't been too bad today, but yeah, it's been blazing normally.
Good to know, man. That's awesome that you're down that way. Hopefully, if I ever make it, we can hook up and just check
Yeah,
out
for
a game
sure.
together and meet. I do plan on traveling some this next season, kind of like a little tour thing to try to get some different venues because I went to every Houston game and then went to the championship game. But man, I'm ready to see like DC. I heard that was an epic place, and I want to know more about that soon too. So,
For sure.
before let's go ahead and hop onto the combine event. I mean, we all know what's coming there. The 25th to the 27th. The first day is offense, and then the second day is defense. Let me share this. While I work on this, man, you got any comments about the combine? I mean, we got a few topics to bring up, but anything just offhand?
The recent report about them doing the social content and live streaming, I think that's an awesome thing. Giving them an A plus for that.
Yes, sir.
They lacked that a little bit last year. I know people were disappointed that the draft wasn't televised or even broadcasted the whole thing. So them doing the combine, and I think this is a big step for them. And hopefully we can get some more draft content throughout the off season.
Yes, sir. It would be awesome and necessary, honestly. I mean, uh, that's what we're all hungry for, whether you're media or fan. We just want to know what's going on. Um,
Right. And
I
I had actually planned on, or kind of planned on going down to the combine to check it out because I wasn't sure how much media coverage would be for it. But after seeing, the XFL providing this for the fans and for media, I think I'm going to hold off, and I think that's enough. The XFL is providing enough content for fans this time.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. I had the same thoughts about it, but at this point, I'd rather save it for the games next year.
For
Um,
sure, yeah.
unless there's something really valuable and that we need to attend, then most of what we can find out through each other or what they release online. Um, talking about the live stream, what what do you think we're looking at in terms of? I know we've heard interviews, we've heard some specials, but are they actually going to show us some players being evaluated?
That would be great to get some, clips of guys working out, get maybe some 40 clips. I don't know, just it would be cool to get that kind of presentation. I'm not sure what the presentation is going to include, being on YouTube and being live streamed can be difficult sometimes with things like that. And so I hope that we get some interviews for, specific players. Some one-on-ones would be nice. Some coach one-on-ones would also be nice. Getting to know some of the front office guys would be another thing that I think fans would appreciate. Some of the guys behind the scenes, I think, fans would like that.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Now, as we're going into the combine stuff, I see we have, they're talking about doing some innovative technology. I kind of included some of this in the slides, and I'm trying to get to where I want to be. So, like here, the valve force plate metrics. Have you had a chance to research any of the technology they're implementing here? I mean,
I actually have not gotten the opportunity. No.
so they're partnering with 3 companies that have different kinds of performance technology. They're listed here. A lot of what it's not. It seems like it's going to really make things easier for them in terms of evaluation, and then hopefully those numbers will be available quickly as well from this. Um,
That would be very helpful.
yeah, I mean you have sprints, which I'm guessing that's a 40 time. We have grip. So they're going to squeeze a
So like pretty
handle.
much your basic like NFL Combine type of workouts almost.
Yep. No doubt. It's I like to see the innovative stuff, and I like that they're actually going to go out and try to like do something different and have a face to this combine. So it's really nice to see. In terms of attendance, you have anybody notable that you're watching?
Yeah, I have a couple of guys. I guess I'll start on the defensive side of the ball because I got 3 guys total here. I got 1 guy on defense. So, Simeon Thomas, he's a cornerback. He's a little older. He's 29 years old right now. He played in Washington. He played for the then Redskins in 2019. Played a lot. Was a 4th or 5th corner for Washington that season. Towards the end of the year, was suspended unfortunately for violating the league's substance abuse policy. But he's got everything you want in a corner. He's lengthy. He's long. He's got experience in the NFL. I think can be a great pickup for any team. He's a little older. I know the XFL has targeted all ages, but mainly young guys. But 29 years old, I don't think is too old for a guy like him to be taken.
No doubt.
Yeah, and then he has some issues in college as well. He attended Louisiana University. He had a couple of suspensions there as well. So he's dealt with a little bit of off the field issues, but when he has been on the field, he's been productive.
Understood.
Any comments on that one?
No, go ahead. Continue, please.
On offense, we have Dion Hollyman. He's a receiver from Missouri State. He's got some experience with the spring ball. He's played in the AAF and he also played in the XFL in 2020. So 2 former spring leagues that didn't work out at the time, but he was also reportedly in the USFL 2022 draft pool, but was undrafted from that. So he didn't have the best of luck with the USFL. He's still trying to latch on with the team right now. He's more of a slot specialist, more of a return specialist type of guy. So a guy that can help a lot of teams in the league, but ultimately just needs a chance.
Yeah. Return specialist is really going to help any team here, honestly.
Right. Another guy I have is Justin Stockton. He's a running back. He actually was the first ever player to join the USFL's Memphis Showboats, who was, which one of their newer teams this past season. Never played a down for them, I don't believe, because he was cut on April 25th. Before that, though, he also played in the AAF with the Arizona Hotshots. He got some good experience there, got a lot of carries. And then he also played with the New York Guardians in XFL in 2020. So another guy that played in those 2 leagues, hasn't played spring ball in a little while, but I think he's trying to get his foot back in the door.
Understood. Yes, sir. Those are great names. And do you have a personal connection with these guys? Are you talking to them at all?
No personal connection, no. I've been watching some of these guys for a while, like Thomas. I just remember him in Washington being one of those guys that was lengthy, a guy that you can line up on the outside for sure. Not a real inside corner, definitely an outside guy if I had to pick. But yeah, definitely disruptive. Stockton's a guy I remember watching play for Arizona in the AAF. He's more of a bowling ball, smaller back, but definitely has some power to him. So yeah, no experience personally, but definitely seen some of these guys play, and I'm excited to see what they do at the Combine.
Yes, sir. Like I said, I hope we actually get some of these numbers for these guys so we can actually evaluate for ourselves what's there.
Surely, yeah.
I've shared some slides here. This is with XFL Analyst. They're on Twitter and Instagram. He's really big on Instagram. Trying to get him on the show. He's pretty busy this month, he said, so we'll shoot for next month. But just want to make sure I credited him for these slides right here. This is just some names he's gathered on his end. Anybody on this list that you – yeah, that's what I was about to say. Anybody that looks familiar to you that, stands out?
Hunter Kaufman is another name that seems familiar. I can't really put a face to the name right now, but he's definitely a familiar name. I've also seen one of these lists that includes another quarterback. I can't remember his name right now, but there's a few notable names at quarterback, which is good for the league. It's always a position that's difficult to get right. So
Yes,
getting some
sir.
bigger names from bigger schools in there is definitely going to be nice.
Yeah, yeah. And looking at the CFL, quarterback play is crucial. You're going to have a
Right.
pool of those guys ready.
How
No
you
way
been keeping up
around it.
with the CFL?
No, not really, man. I've been so busy on my end with everything. I haven't had a chance to keep up, but I have noticed that, they have a lot of quarterback injuries occurring.
Yeah. I
That's
don't keep up
pretty,
with the CFL too much either, but I have seen that as well.
yeah, and that's pretty worrying for any league. You got to have your guys that are the leaders, and they get hurt. It's really going to impact your team, no matter where you're at or what you're doing.
Right. Luckily, the XFL didn't really have too much turnover with the quarterback position, so it seems like they should be getting most of these guys back.
Yes, sir. And there's guys that were in the background that were ready to go, in my opinion, on
I
each
agree.
team almost. I mean, there's an exception of 2 or 3 teams that have quarterback issues, but the rest have leaders and they're ready to rumble. So
I'm
yeah,
surprised a couple guys like Dormady didn't get a little bit of a better chance, and McCarron, obviously, but
yep.
it's
I
a
think
difficult
Dormady is
position.
going to see his light this year. I have a feeling he'll get some time to shine. I mean, he did get a couple times to shine last year where he really looked good. I mean,
He did.
so hopefully he does. And that everything down there, I think, is okay now. They had a little bit of conflict there at the beginning, but they've worked it out, and I think they'll be rolling good this next year. So, I guess we'll go ahead and get off topic here and just talk about you some, man. I mean, I know you covered the DC Defenders during the 2023 season. You are with XFL Newsroom. Just tell me, man, what's your background? How did you get into this field? How did you get to covering the XFL? And just how did you start with XFL Newsroom?
All right, yeah. So I've always really been into sports ever since I was a kid. My dad always kept me pretty well rounded with playing sports and taking me to games and things like that. So I've always been around sports. It's always been the main focal point of my life. I always knew that going to college, it was going to have to be something centered around sports. And so I followed the sports journalism or like sport management type of path. And after high school, I decided to do some. Oh, let me start back. After high school, decided to do some community college because my family mentioned going down to Florida. So decided it would probably be a better idea to start down there and then try to figure out what to do from there. And so after community college, I came back up to Virginia, and in 2022, this past year, I reached back out to Newsroom with the XFL starting back up, and asked if I can write with them again. And being back in that DC area was a blessing because I got to cover a local team, the DC Defenders, and got to meet some really awesome people doing that as well.
Yeah, yeah. How were those games? I've heard some things. I heard they were awesome. So just from your own take, what do you think?
Yeah, so I got to go to the I went to the first week of the season against Seattle, and that was an unreal experience. The crowd was insane. They were having issues with the Lemons that game because of the security taking away the beer snake, and so there was some miscommunication there. They got that figured out after that week, but that week was hectic. It was a lot of fun. DC got the win. It was a rambunctious crowd. It was a lot of fun though. And then also got to cover the playoff game in DC against Seattle, which was another great crowd. It was a little bit of a rainy game. That game it was a messy game, but it was just the DC crowd is amazing. They love sports there. They were looking for a really good football team to support, and obviously with how things had been in Washington, the DC Defenders were a bright light at the time, and fans loved it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they needed something to latch on to. And the XFL had it for sure with that team. They're electric, man. And they should have the same team coming this next year. I mean, things won't be too much different as of yet.
Right. And then also back, I'm going to rewind a little bit.
You're fine. Go
In
ahead.
2020, I also did a little bit of writing for the Newsroom because I was down in Florida at the time. I did a little bit of writing for the Vipers. And by week 5, I think, which is the week that the league was, dissolved because of COVID, I was actually given my first week of media credentials. And so it was a very bittersweet ending because the same week it ended, I was supposed to be being in the press box for the Tampa Bay Vipers for the first time. And so coming back, fast forwarding 2 years now to 2023 with XFL was a very good feeling going to that first DC game and, getting to be in the press box and have that experience. It was kind of a full circle thing. Felt good.
Now, I saw you did attend a Battlehawks game also, right?
Yeah, that was another unreal experience. That was a cold day. The fans were out in full effect, over 30,000 fans still. I can't wait to go back to St. Louis. I hope the championship game is there.
Yes, sir. Same here. That's a good time. That's when I started this in 2020. Well, started being a fan in 2020. The Battlehawks were my team, and I went to the home games they had, and every single game was unreal.
Yeah,
But
those fans are wild too. They're very dedicated. They come out in full effect.
no doubt, it's a party and it's a parade, and I mean, it's a good time. Uh, Compared to Houston, I mean, there was a lot of fans, but they definitely did not follow their team like those Battlehawk fans do.
What was the experience like at that Houston stadium? Because I know that the St. Louis, they did a really good job. The stadium and the media reps there, they do a really good job of communicating and putting on a good show for the fans.
Yeah, everything was great. I never had an issue there. When I first had to get approval, it was kind of like go from there. But once I got approval and they got to know me and got to make face, I mean, it was a good time. They always took care of us, fed us well, beautiful facilities, beautiful press box, really, really beautiful. A lot of people that were there that, that I met over time that I didn't expect to be either. So I thought it was a great experience, and I look forward to going back next year for the same thing.
Did you see a lot of local media reps or local media guys that maybe you had followed before that you see? Yeah, I did the same thing in DC. It was very kind of a surreal thing,
Yeah, that was my number one. The best part about it was just sitting in the room with these guys and talking football as the games are
Picking
going.
the brain.
Yeah. We just everybody. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people now, and it was a good time. Memories you won't forget for sure. And that's why I said I like to go to some different stadiums because, I mean, every stadium has to have a unique experience, I feel like, even for media, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. St. Louis was different because you're right. Well, DC and St. Louis are kind of similar in that way, where they're right kind of in the city. The stadiums are, and so you're walking through the city as you walk through the stadium, and you get the feel as you walk, like especially DC because there's a long walk from the bar where everybody kind of hangs out at before the games because there's no tailgating opportunity at Audi Field, and so everybody kind of makes the walk. And if you get the same time, you're walking with them up to the stadium, and so it's a cool experience and a similar experience in St. Louis. And I'm also excited to see some other stadiums this season.
Yeah, same here, man. I hope to get to go to Vegas too. My guy Jersey is watching us right now, and he's going to be covering Vegas, and so
Awesome.
Just going to pop a quick comment up from him.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
I heard Cashman was nicer than what it appears to be on TV. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did you like the San Antonio, the stadium and the experience down there?
Beautiful. I loved it. It's up to par with St. Louis. If the fans were as heavy down there, it would be an intense place to play.
I heard the city's really beautiful too.
Oh, the city was great. We walked around. They got the Riverwalk, the Alamo. We stayed busy for 2 nights, and it was really nice. So, man, especially going to Houston. I mean, I liked Houston as well. Each is their own, but San Antonio had a lot of stuff to do and a lot of stuff to see. The stadium, the press box, you're actually in the stadium. There's no cover, so you can hear everything and see everything, the smells, the lights. It's all you're actually in the game instead of whereas awesome. Houston, you're up high, up stationed and isolated. Here, you're right by the fans. I mean, there's fans that were sitting directly in front of me through a clear plexiglass. So.
Yeah, I was looking forward to getting down there. I was actually supposed to head down for the championship and got sick just before. It was super disappointing, but I'm hoping I can make it there next year for the championship or another game.
Yeah, I actually remember looking, man. You were supposed to be sitting beside me.
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where I knew who you were, but then I said, man, I know him. And I looked you up on Twitter and I said, yeah, I know him. This is who I thought it was.
Man.
And I think I asked Anthony Miller because we and him sat together, and he told me that you had gotten sick. So it's unfortunate, man, because that was a good time. Hopefully next year you'll get to go and do it all, and because it was a good time. I definitely didn't get as much on the field access or media credentials but it was a good time. Houston, I mean, I could go where I wanted and walk and take pictures and talk and actually get into the game and the people on the field. But there at that championship, it was locked down tight, like Fort Knox. There was no getting on
Were you
the
able to
field.
get any locker room access in Houston?
Yeah, no,
Same.
yes, I could have, but it was after the game, and I really didn't want to go in there and bother those guys after they played. We'd talk outside of their locker room as they come out, but their family and such were hanging out there, and it didn't seem appropriate for me to just like go in there and start reporting. Um, but definitely made some connections and relationships there with those guys and talked to other media members and families and such. So it was really personal.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts. Also, doing the whole experience was meeting new people and building these connections and networks where you never thought of even it was possible to be at the same, talking to these people. And so I just think it's an awesome opportunity to be able to start those connections and meet people like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Agreed. And that's what I say. We're all in it together, and we're all in it for the love. There's few people that are actually receiving, and paying bills from doing this, but most of us are doing this as a hobby and for the love. So, and that's what we get out of it. And so I agree
Right.
with you 100%. Those relationships are valued, and looking back, even if I'm not covering this league, definitely going to be calling some of these guys friends moving forward.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially, media, especially. Like, I love meeting people, like, especially like you, and picking their brains and getting the opportunity to talk about their experiences and stuff like that. So it's
Same here,
great.
same here. That's what it's all about, man. That's what I'm trying to do with this show. I know there's not much XFL stuff going on. It's not like it's the game week every week, but what we can do is get exposure to these people that are out here hustling, like you, like Anthony Miller, like any James, any of these guys that are just killing it. I mean, that's what we want to do. And so appreciate you for coming on again.
Definitely.
Now, going forward, I mean, so you said you hooked up with Newsroom, you just messaged them, you got with them. Did you pick DC because you were close, correct? That's why you went there, or did you
Yeah.
have
Yeah. It's pretty much why I went there. Yeah. I was, when the league was in 2020, I was down in Florida. I've always liked all the DC teams, and wanted to cover the DC teams, and, being back up there for school gave me the opportunity to do that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just curious. Just wanted to know. Like I said, my friend Drew, a colleague, he was my former co-host. He went and he said it was a great time, and so hopefully I get to attend one, man.
Oh yeah, dude. If you come out, you gotta let me know for sure.
I will, no doubt, no doubt.
Awesome.
So I ask everybody this question that I've interviewed, and I know it may be kind of redundant, but what's your best memory or highlight, man, from this experience? Whether it be the writing, the games. I mean, what the XFL? When you think great, what is that?
So since we've already talked about the relationships, I'll go to something else here. I'll go to a specific moment. My favorite moment of the season was probably following the playoff game against Seattle and seeing Barlow and seeing the whole team celebrating on the field, lifting the North Division Championship trophy. That was a really cool experience, and being on the field and kind of feeling like you're a part of that as well because you've been through that journey and been talking to these guys all season. It was a full. I hate to say it again, but it was a full circle moment. It was a really definitely the highlight of the season for me.
Understood. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
That's something you can't forget, man.
yeah, definitely. And then like, I have a video of KJ Sales dancing, celebrating on the sidelines. And that's another video I always remember too.
Yeah, I've got a good one from after the championship where Renegade Lyman was on the ground doing confetti angels. That's probably
That's
my
awesome.
favorite.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But since we're on that, what's your least favorite, man? Share something with me and the people that you haven't enjoyed.
I would say least favorite is maybe not getting the opportunities you always want to get, or I don't know if the opportunity is the right word. Maybe being the guy that's kind of coming into this new, you don't always you're getting the short end of the stick sometimes with certain things. And even though it's small things like parking, even for example, if you're parking at a facility, you just might not have that. You might not be able to get it because you don't have that status over somebody else. It might be limited. It's just a small example, but things like that, you just knowing where you're at on the totem pole and accepting that and still moving forward is I think it's a big part of this job actually. And it's the only way you're really going to make your way up. And that's something that I've had to deal with this past season. And it's nothing that's really been a big downfall or anything. It's just kind of something that comes with the gig.
Yeah. I mean, I level with you 100% on that. I mean, lots of emails and phone calls is what it took me to get approval as credentialed media. And some of those games, they didn't come through until the night of the game or the day of the game, actually at 2 a.m., where I traveled all the way to Houston just waiting, not sure. So
Right.
I understand where you're coming from. And I think we've laid a foundation that really will be built upon, and people are going to respect you and me as well. Not in the fact that we're great journalists or content creators, but we're here and we're showing up and we're consistent and we're positive. So that's what we
Right. And
really
showing up
are
and
with.
being consistent is only going to make us better too. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And either way, these network relationships will benefit someday, no doubt.
exactly. Yeah.
So we got the least and the best. In terms of the XFL, what do you believe they can improve on for next year? What's something? I don't want to get super negative, but I'm just curious from your end. What do you think is something that they can improve on to make this league better for fans, players, or coaches?
For fans, I would say the marketing was something that they missed out on this past season. I think a lot of people would agree with that as well.
Yes, sir.
Personally, like I have a lot of friends that also like football and are big into spring, or like big into the idea of spring football and big into another league competing with the NFL. Not competing exactly, but working alongside the NFL in the off season. And a lot of my friends didn't really know about the XFL until like a couple weeks before it happening, and I know that was an issue with a lot of people that they didn't really know the league was starting back up until a couple weeks before, or the proper marketing wasn't there. And so I just think that hopefully this year the league starts that off a little earlier. I know that they made a couple front office changes when it comes to marketing, and so hopefully we see something a little different on that end.
Yeah, agreed. And I think we're all in agreement there. We started too late last year and there wasn't much going on. I know a lot of what was trending and was happening on social media was because of people like us and everyone else in this realm that, whether it's a conversation, an article, a video, a replay, there's just something that we were all doing to keep this thing rolling. So hopefully next year we get some step ups and get some real marketing going. I'd love
Yeah,
to
another
see
thing.
those games. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. I was going to say a couple of things I would recommend would be also reaching out to that demographic that was so attractive to the league. That they had a really good young demographic that was tuning into the league, and I think maybe going after even like colleges and universities that are surrounding those areas and those locations for the teams. I think that could be really beneficial.
Yes, sir. Agree with you 100% on all that. And that's a fair take. That's not anything that's too harsh or critical. And a few changes like they've already made will make a difference. I'm trying not to
Right.
say so much.
I know that could be tricky. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I
I know what
know
you
when
mean.
first started this thing a few months ago, it was like I was scared to get on live and do this, and now here we are. But anywho, going forward, man, I know you said you're going to be following some Orlando games and attending those because you're close by. But what plans do you have for the future? I mean, I know I seen you just graduated in May, and so I was just curious what's your passion? What are you heading to do? I mean, for work or for this hobby?
Yeah, so I did graduate in May up in Virginia. I actually headed back down here to Florida after graduating, and I've been down here since then. I'm not sure exactly where I'll be when the season starts and kicks back off in February in 2024. And so I'm definitely gonna be heading up to some DC games. I'll definitely be attending some Orlando games as well. I would definitely like to go to some more St. Louis games, travel around, but and this is what I want to do for sure. Sports journalism is kind of my passion, and it's kind of what I went to school for as well.
Yes,
And
sir.
so this is the career I'd like to pursue, and I think this is a great opportunity and a great niche to kind of attach to and get my career kicked off. I think.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. Either way it
Because
goes, you're getting some exposure and experience.
right, you can create like a little fan base with these type of things as well, because there's not a lot of people working towards a league like this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know that's why I got started was just Facebook trends. I mean, I was getting engaged a lot on Facebook, 500,000 trend follows a day. I mean, engagements a day on certain topics. and that's why I got rolling on this gig.
Did you was sports journalism something that always kind of piqued your interest as well?
Personally, no. I was always a player, and then I was a coach, and I coached for going on around 8 years. Coached at the high school, middle school level. Um, was in a few different programs here and there. I think I was the head coach of a middle school team and then an assistant of a high school. And I mean, I was always in football. I actually have a background in athletic administration. That's what my degree's in. One of
Right.
part of my degree. And so, I mean, this is kind of always what I did. In terms of the media stuff, this was a new avenue for me too. And last year, just hooked up with the right people and got started, and then just started following it. And someday I would like to pursue it as a career as well. But like I said, this is more of a hobby for me just now, just because, I mean, but not making any money off of it. So it
Right.
is what
Yeah.
it is. But yeah, athletics were always in my background. This is a fresh take on it, being media though for me. And I actually enjoy this professional side and being able to get this content out. I enjoy it a lot more than what I thought I would, honestly.
Yeah. Especially as a hobby, even it's just something that keeps you into it, and on another level, even you're like an insider. Exactly what your title is. You're communicating with these guys. You're make writing the. In my case, I'm writing the articles. It's a
Yes, sir.
really great opportunity that the XFL is providing for us.
Yep, no doubt. And that's what I always hashtag is opportunity. Player 54, we're all player 54 in some way. And it's not just the players, it's everybody. And so guys like you and the rest of the crew that I follow on Twitter, I mean, it's good to talk to you guys and pick your brain professionally, because honestly, last year I never thought this would occur. So, I mean, keep up your great work, man, and keep up your great hustle, and you're going to make it somewhere. And hopefully we'll be talking to you on ESPN or something someday.
I appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate you having me on today too. This is my first ever podcast appearance, so this is a pretty big milestone for me, and I appreciate you doing it for me.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you coming on, man. And that about wraps it up for the interview, unless you have anything you want to add. If you could, go ahead and shout your socials. I've got them going there at the bottom, but there's anything I missed, anything you want to mention, current events, I mean, please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so my Twitter is down there at the bottom. I see it. It's at C Paolantonio, CPAOLANTONIO. And then also, I'm also just starting my YouTube channel up, trying to post some shorts from the season right now, and then hopefully kick off some kind of interviews and start posting more on there. And so my YouTube is Christian Paolantonio, same as my name on Twitter and same spelling and everything. So you guys can subscribe or follow me on there. It'd be much appreciated.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. And like I said, thank you for all the hard work, and keep up the hustle, dude. Look forward to following you more. And if you ever want to come back on, please do. You're always invited. Seriously.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully we can meet soon in person.
That'd be awesome, dude. Let's do it.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. We'll talk to you later. All right. Great guest. Appreciate you coming on, man. Awesome guest. Hey, I'm going to stream the interview with E.J. Hilliard here soon. Jesse Dyess was a contributor for that. He actually got that recorded and just sent it to me, and it's a great interview. It's about 20 minutes long. Check it out. See what y'all think. EJ's a great athlete, fantastic athlete, and he's really shining there and doing his thing. So great work by Jesse. I want to say thanks to Ambush Sports and XFL Board, as well as the XFL. Appreciate you guys letting me cover. It's a great ride, great adventure. I appreciate it greatly. Doing the best we can here. I'm trying to get the studio brought up. It is what it is. One day at a time, we do a little bit more, so it's okay. And let me check the comments before I hop off there. Jersey, appreciate you, man. Great host there, Jersey. I'll be on his show Saturday on YouTube. It'll be a good time there, so check him out too. Again, it's been an honor, a pleasure. I'm going to stream this interview, and then after that, the live will end. So this will be it for me until Tuesday. We got James Larson coming on. That should be a good one as well. And we have a special interview from Francis Novi. Francis is from the Netherlands, Amsterdam, I believe. Yep, Netherlands, Amsterdam. Great guy, great athlete. he's going to be in the Combine this next week. So we've talked to a few athletes in the Combine, and we got some more coming up. So check that. Before I hop off, I just want to mention some of the athletes like Jeremiah Spicer, Joshua Flowers, Lowell Patron, all these guys. They're coming on the show, and they're going to be in the Combine. These are names you're probably going to see at some point next year or this year. I would think so. So check them out. Also, I want to note some of the guests we have coming on. Now, some of the stuff I haven't released yet, but we'll have fewer interviews in August just because I have some stuff going. So we'll have James Larson coming on next week. Mike Mitchell is going to be on next week. Anthony Miller is going to be on August 8th. And then we got Evan Willsmore. He'll be on in August as well. So we got a bunch of guests coming, and we got some different interviews coming. If you guys like the content and you want to see certain content, please just reach out, send me a message, email, whatever, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just give me a shout, and we'll get some more stuff going. But as always, I appreciate you guys for listening, and hope you have a good night. And yeah, it's been a great pleasure. So thanks again. Until next time, guys.
To meet with me this morning. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
No problem. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So first thing I just kind of wanted to get out there. Congratulations on the season you're having so far.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. It's my first year following IFL, and as I'm doing top 5 list, I see your name popping up in the top 3 in every category that you're a part of. And I think you'd be a shoe-in for MVP this year. And I just wanted to say congratulations on that. And
thank you. I definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely. Is that something you even think about during the regular season, or is that just kind of something that it's cool when it happens? Or
your teammates, they're the ones that probably say it more. I probably don't think about it much. Honestly, I never really thought about winning awards. Just going out there, and then the closer you get, to the end of the year, things start to pan out. So the guys around you, they start to say little comments and little things like that. So it just kind of just puts everything in perspective. And then once the season starts to wind down and get closer and closer, it's just competitive at that point. It's a lot of guys in this league that's well deserving of awards, and it's a lot of guys that's trying to get out of here and get to the next level. So the competition starts to ramp up, especially when the playoff run starts to get narrow. So, guys just start to, do more and just be more of who they are, and then just make great plays. And then, but once the end of the season comes, I very rarely think about it, but, your teammates, they always say things, and the other team, they definitely leave comments and remarks. So just lets you know that you're doing what you're supposed to do for your team, and just being available and being out there and just give your team that confidence. So never really thought about it, never played to get an award like that, but it definitely would be great to be, ranked amongst your peers and to be one of the top dogs.
Absolutely. So that would be my next question for you is following your career in the IFL and kind of doing a little bit of research to make sure I was up to date on everything I could find for this interview. Yeah. You've accomplished a lot in a short amount of time in the IFL. And my question would be, to what do you attribute that to?
Being efficient as possible. High school, sat behind a great quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater. So I only got to play my senior year. I played games in between there. Teddy went down a few games, and but never really got to play until I became a senior. I had 1 year to do it and get it done as efficiently and as quickly as possible to try to receive a scholarship and go off to play college ball. And then once I got to Florida International, we had a quarterback, Jake Medlock, one of my great friends to this day, and he was coming into his redshirt sophomore season. So technically we were only 1 year apart from each other. And Jake goes down 4th game against Louisville at halftime. And then I get thrust into the action, and then never getting a chance to redshirt and get acclimated to the system, get acclimated to the college game. And then from there, Alex Magoo, who's tearing it up in the USFL, he comes in my junior year, and Jake leaves. So competing with Alex, and both of us basically splitting time. And then Alex becomes a starter and goes on to do great things. Then I go off to Valdosta State, then getting 1 year as a senior. So almost like the same story from high school, get 1 year to do it. And then Roland Rivers was behind me Then me and Roland split some time, and then earned back the starting job. And then coming to the Germany, went to Germany for a year. That's when I really got to play from start to finish. Then once I got to Quad City, in CIF first and then IFL, really was when I truly got a chance to really start and play the whole game, every game, from start to finish from 2018 until now. So just being able to learn as a young man, high school and then college, how to get everything done as efficiently, as smoothly as possible, because I didn't have 3 or 4 years to be able to walk into it and grow into it and get the grooming that I needed. So coming to IFL and coming to the CIF was the only time I really got the chance to really play. But at that point, all I ever knew was be efficient and be as fast as possible. So this would be my almost the end of my third full season in the IFL, and definitely has been able to do a lot of great things in this league. And just, like I said, the great players that have come before me, I remember watching guys and looking at guys and seeing how they did it, just knowing that, you know what, if they can do it, you know, I think I'll be able to do the same thing, and how efficient and as quick and smooth as possible.
I gotcha. That was going to be one of my next questions. You brought up Alex Magoo. I was just curious, do you two still keep in contact, or?
I hadn't talked to Magoo in a while, but when he first got to FIU, his true freshman year was my junior season, so was able to help him a lot. He earned the starting job the second game, so from the second game all the way to the end of the year. But Coach Ron Turner was our coach, and we always did film together, so after every game, before every game. So we always spent a lot of time. And the same way he plays is the same way he played back then. Always was a great athlete, make extended plays, great arm, pretty smart, can make every throw. So plays the same way. But I haven't spoken to Alex. Probably it's been a while, but I definitely always keep up with him just because the history we had together and playing with him. So I'm always keeping up with him, always watching him, and definitely grateful and glad, you know, to see what he's doing, and hopefully he gets a shot.
Absolutely. My next question was after your time in Valdosta State, I was trying to find where you mentioned Germany. Could you talk a little bit more about that and your experience? And
Yep. After I left Valdosta State, Jake Medlock had went to Germany, played at Dresden Monarchs. That was the first call I received after Valdosta State. It was from Dresden, and then Schwäbisch Hall they called, but I was getting ready to do my pro day, so getting ready to train for the pro day at Valdosta, and then the pro day gets canceled, and then one of my best friends passed away, so I ended up taking a few months off. Then I ended up going to München, Germany. Firsty Razorbacks was the team, so I ended up going to Firsty for a year. They played over there. Got a chance to really do well. Got a chance to really open up, you know, my athleticism. Got a chance to really run the ball a lot over there and play with a lot of younger guys. And 2 guys from California, James Nelson and Violele Pecco. Those are my 2 American teammates. And then really got a chance to get acclimated to the game. And Coach Adam Shackelford was the first arena coach that ever had reached out to me. And then talked to Billy Back, and I initially signed to play with Billy Back in Cedar Rapids once I left Germany. And then that's when Charles McCullough was coming off his MVP season. Then they ended up leaving and going, I think they went to Wichita to the Nighthawks. Then Marvin Jones became the new head coach at Cedar Rapids. So I was there for 2 weeks with the training camp, and then Devon Brown left Cedar Rapids and came to Quad City, and then that's how I got acclimated with Quad City. Then I came over here February 22nd in 2018, and then, you know, the rest was history.
Okay. So looking at your bio, and I heard you mention that you played high school football with Teddy Bridgewater. You're from Miami. I'm from Florida too, so I would imagine going to Germany and then later to Illinois was quite a bit of a culture shock.
Oh yeah, big culture shock, especially coming from Miami, Florida. But since a kid, I always traveled a lot with football. So going up the road, Bradenton or Orlando, competing with the Elite 11, traveling there, and then playing with South Florida Express 7-on-17. We traveled a lot. Then my high school, we went to Oregon 2 years in a row for the Nike 707 tournament that they later on turned into like the top 300 players, and they invited the top 300 players to the I think they called it the opening. But before that, they were just inviting the top 8 high schools in the world. So did that, and then from Miami, just ended up somehow in Germany. And then that was a culture shock. Definitely had to learn how to use the Autobahn, use the transportation, had to get over the language barriers. And then from there, going to Cedar Rapids, going from Miami where it's 90 degrees, and then Cedar Rapids where it's negative 15 below zero. So that was definitely a culture shock. And then coming out here to Quad City was kind of similar to Cedar Rapids, but definitely ended up being able to adjust because since a kid had been traveling a lot. So definitely was able to adjust and then get situated.
Okay. So looking through your Twitter feed, kind of getting, acclimated and doing some research. I saw back and forth between you and Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
What role has he played in your development?
So he played a huge role since a kid. Kurt Warner, Dan Marino were two guys that I looked up to as far as being a pocket pass. Obviously Dan Marino because he was with Miami, and I initially 13 was the first number I wore. Then when I got to high school, I wore 13 as a sophomore and a freshman in football because of Kurt Warner. And then fast forward, that's when I started to learn about Warren Moon and then Randall Cunningham. Then once I got to Cedar Rapids, that's when I knew Kurt wasn't born from too far away from there. And then getting a chance to watch him with the Barnstormers and go back and watch his old clips and the championship game between him and Jay Gruden. So he was the only guy that, as a quarterback, that made it out. So that was the guy, I just draw my interest towards the most because he had the blueprint to get out. So figured, man, why not reach out? The worst thing that could happen is he just don't reach back and he don't say anything back. But obviously he ended up reaching back and responding to me, and then just basically giving me the keys and let me know what it was I needed to work on and get better at, and then going from there. So that definitely was great. Definitely appreciate him taking the time out of his day to reach back and do something he didn't have to do, but definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely. That was actually going to be my next question, was how cool was it to have somebody to reach out to that's kind of gone the path that you're trying to go to get to the NFL? And
yeah, that was a blessing, honestly. Like I said, he had the blueprint. He's done it. Obviously, you can go back and watch the movie. Definitely one of those great moments to hear from someone that has done it, that's trying to go exactly where you're trying to go, and he's done it at the highest level. Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer, and he came from the same place. He came from the same place that you're at right now. So just history basically repeating itself. So just always looked at it like, why not? He made it out, so it's not impossible for someone to do it. It just takes the right person, but just being able to get those jewels and those gems dropped from him. So definitely thankful for that.
Absolutely. So one thing that's kind of become like, I've noticed it in the IFL and I've never seen it before, was like this particular year, it seems like a lot of teams play each other back-to-back weeks, like just like y'all did with Iowa.
Yeah.
And we saw two games that had two wildly different outcomes.
Yeah.
What do you think was the reason behind that?
You got to think those guys at that point knew they weren't making it to the playoffs, so they just came out hungry, knowing that they only have 2 or 3 games left to make the most of it, and then they just got a new quarterback acclimated, made a few changes on defense, and they just came out. The ball bounced their way first play of the game, and then defense ended up getting a stop, and then the momentum just shifted. Especially the first time we played them we were on the other side of a blowout win, so they're coming back in with that in their brain and with that in their mindset, and then it's a rival game still, so they know a lot about us. We know a lot about them, and they came out, put their foot on our necks, and then they just never looked back. Just kept running it up, kept trying to score, kept stopping us, forced 2 turnovers, and then the second time we played them, just came back. Like, you can't be a playoff team and playing with teams, basically. So they came out next time, and then we just had a better game plan, limited the turnovers, just got the ball to the right guys, and then just went from there. So it definitely was one of those games, one of those matchups where you play them back to back and you expect, hey, it might be a closer game or it might be this, and then all three games were just different lopsided outcomes, and we were on top 2 times, and they definitely got us the second time.
I gotcha. Has this season been different at all after your playoff run last year? Do you feel like do y'all feel like after making it all the way to the championship game last year that there's a little bit of a target on y'all's back this year?
Yeah, for sure. Especially, making the championship last year, coming out of the East, and teams want to take you down. It's almost that if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best type thing. And it's the same with Northern Arizona making it to the championship last year. So just know when you make it, and then you got guys on the team that get acknowledged for certain awards. Teams going to come out and they're going to put their best foot forward for those games. So I mean, it's definitely a target on our back. We're not the ones that's chasing. We're not the ones that's chasing the guy with the target. You're the one with the target on your back, and people are coming gunning for you, trying to take you out and knock you off and get to where you just been this last year. So definitely just been one of those type seasons, and you just can't take anyone lightly because of that target. And, people want to take you out.
Mm-hmm. So that said, making the championship game last year, is this season for you championship or bust?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just one of those. Every time I play, I feel like I can help my team win every game, and fast forward that all the way to the playoffs and then to the championship game. So I feel like you just can't consider yourself one of the best in the league if you're not in that conversation, for championship title contenders. And that's why you play the game. You play the game to ultimately at the end of the year, it's a team goal, and the biggest team award is to be awarded champion. So that's why you play, and I definitely appreciate it and thank my guys for just believing and trusting in me and allowing me to lead them as far as we can go. And hopefully we end up back in, Henderson, Nevada, August 5th this year. So definitely be huge.
Absolutely. In your time playing football, who would you say has had the most impact on who you've become as a player?
My dad. I think my dad, he's always just always giving me positive feedback, constructive criticism, good or bad. He's always finding a way to push me to be better, push me to mentally get sharper, and just stay on top of my game, stay on my P's and Q's. Let me know you can't afford to take a play off, or you can't afford to have a okay or mediocre game, especially at this level. You got to almost just be as efficient, as perfect and dominant every game, and it got to become mundane. It got to become one of those type fields where someone looks at the numbers and the numbers can wow you, but if you're looking at the game and the production, is almost like, well, how good is this guy really, or is it just the people around him? So this got to always stay efficient. So I always say my dad just stand on top of me, never let me get complacent or never let me settle.
Okay. Last question I have for you is looking forward into the next steps of your journey, to any NFL or XFL or Canadian Football League scouts watching this. What would you want them to know about EJ that maybe doesn't stand out on the tape?
Just know that I'm family oriented, God fearing, leader. Definitely had to learn how to be a follower. At first, had to learn what it was to lead a team and be a young, productive gentleman, especially inside of an organization. And on a football field, just competitive, whatever it takes to win. Decision making, I think my stats speak for themselves as far as decision making and protecting the football. Just one of those guys, man. Just whatever organization gives me an opportunity, I would definitely fully take advantage of it. Play my role, learn, and then eventually, take the keys over and do what it is that I believe that I'm destined to do, and lead an organization to multiple Super Bowl wins. So anybody that's watching, man, just one of those guys, man. I just need an opportunity, need a shot, and definitely take advantage of that.
Okay. That was all I had for you. Was there anything
Oh, no, I definitely do want to let you know I appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time out. Definitely appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. I appreciate you giving me I don't know if you could tell or not, but this is the first interview I've ever done since
No, we're good.
So, like I said, constructive criticism is definitely welcome.
For sure. I mean, I appreciate it. I just thank you for even reaching out and wanting to get this done. And it's just about getting better. That's it. Taking the interview back to the lab and seeing what it is that you can improve on, I can improve on, and studying it just like a game and improving it, then get ready for the next opponent, next matchup. So definitely appreciate it, taking the time. I wouldn't knew it was your first one, but I definitely appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I really appreciate you giving me the time to have this conversation. And being you're from Florida, I have to ask, Miami or Florida State?
Miami, man. Miami, everything, 305 all day, baby. But my dad definitely was a Florida State fan growing up. That would have been one of the universities I would love to go to. So Florida State definitely got a special place in my heart.
I respect that. That was where I went to school, so I had to ask that. I wasn't surprised when you told me you're a Hurricanes fan, and I can respect that
for sure.
So one thing I will say is that when I started following the IFL, I recognized your name right off the bat because back in the day I used to play NCAA.
Yeah.
On a 360. And I can honestly, like, one of the things I used to love to do was take a school that like wasn't as well known and build them up. And so I figured I would figure you would enjoy hearing that me and you won national championships together.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely appreciate that. I know Road to Glory was still pretty big to this day.
Oh, absolutely. But like I said, that's all I have for you today. Like I said, I really do appreciate you taking the time out to have a conversation with me, and I look forward to getting to write this article. And
definitely appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for your time.
I want to wish you good luck for the rest of your season, and I hope we get to talk again after your league MVP and y'all win the 2023 championship.
Yes, sir. I definitely appreciate that, man. Thank you. Most definitely.
Yes, sir. Good luck on the rest of your season.
Thank you. You too.
Sir, you have a great day.
You too.